Hey, I just wanted a kind of a quick tip. I was talking to a client recently, and something that I think is pretty typical for us as recruiters and recruiting firm owners is getting yourself and or your recruiters through the struggle with getting new business. The economy is coming back nicely now. We're tracking the metrics of our clients, and it's almost back to what it was pre-COVID. But if you don't fix this was a problem pre-COVID, it's a problem now, it's not going away unless you take decisive action. I'm going to give you some tips in the next couple of minutes. If you don't fix this, you and your recruiters are going to continue to work lousy openings that frustrate you, drain cash, and have you question your existence on this planet. All right, maybe not question your existence on this planet, but for me at points in my career, I think it did. However, when you fix this, what's going to happen, you're going to reach out to more prospects, which means by just pure raw numbers, you'll have more openings to choose from, and you can dump the lousy ones. What inspired me to kind of talk about this, again, I was talking to a client a few weeks ago, and she was stuck, frustrated, and avoiding marketing. And I asked her what she thought about when she sat down to do her business development. I took her to a moment in time. She goes, you know, a lot of times I think I'm bothering them. And I'm like, all right, thanks for your honesty. And that, when I took her through some kind of coaching around it, caused a lot of anxiety. And as you can imagine, that caused her to avoid marketing and feeding the loop of stuck and frustrated. Because you procrastinate marketing, you have to work on what's available, especially if it's not optimal. She'd been in the business over 8 years, made placements, and had a few pretty good years, actually. And I asked her, were you bothering the people that you made placements with when you called them before you knew them? The answer was no. Some of them maybe took a few calls to warm up and develop the relationship, but she said emphatically, they needed me. They needed me. So you weren't bothering them, correct? And she's like, well, no. Those were actually really good calls. I'm like, exactly. I asked, how many prospects do you think you've spoken with since you started your business? She goes, thousands. And I go, have any of them told you that you were bothering them? And after some thought, she's like, no one's actually said I'm bothering you. I go, yet that's paralyzing you right now, something that's never occurred. And I asked, what is the typical rejection sound like for you when you get a hold of someone that doesn't need you? And she's like, the typical no is, hey, thanks for calling. We don't need anyone right now. Why don't you call back and check with me in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Does that sound like bother? And she was, no, of course. And then we went deeper into, and the real truth was when she engaged people and prospects in conversations, she got good information. At the very worst, she got information about kind of the type of people they hire, their goals and outcomes. And that led her to the clients she has now. And I asked her then, so really, is what you're afraid of when you sit down ever really happen? She's like, no. And that's the ghost a lot of us have. Some people it's bother. Some people is all recruiters are the same. Some people is it's overwhelmed. There's always a story. I would ask you to ask yourself, what do I think about when I sit down and market? Number one. Number two, is it really true? Does it happen frequently? It's going to happen. Some things you might be afraid of might happen once in a while, but does it happen frequently? Then ask yourself, what actually happens when you engage a new prospect in conversation? And is that something that's reprehensible? Is that something that you'd be afraid of? Or is it just kind of the law of averages? Not everyone needs us when we talk to them. And then lastly, I would look at the clients who work with you, who value what you do and value what you're providing, and ask yourself, is that bothersome? Or is that in alignment with what is holding you back or causing you to procrastinate? So if you want to stop procrastinating and take a leap forward in your business, in attracting great clients, some of them who we can teach you how will pay you upfront in any niche. Every one of our clients in every niche that follows our process gets money up front. Not necessarily all the time, but they do it. Fill in the little form below. And on the other side, if it makes sense for both of us, we'll schedule a time to chat and see if we can help you further. I hope this quick tip has been helpful for you, and we'll talk soon. Bye now.